Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video I would like to try something a little bit different and talk about 10 books that you should read if you love BTS. Since the coronavirus is unfortunately spreading all over the world, all I want is for you to stay healthy and safe. But in order to do that, we all need to be responsible and stay home as much as possible in order to protect ourselves and those around us. As some of you know, I've been in lockdown myself for over a week now, and while I was preparing new content for you guys, I thought that this could be the right opportunity to get a bit creative and find different ways to keep you entertained, safe and occupied. So today, we're gonna start by focusing on 10 books that you may want to check out if you love BTS. And if you enjoy this type of content, I'd like to do something similar for other groups and maybe cover movies and TV shows as well. So let me know if this is something that you would like to see. Now, the books I'm gonna talk about today are only some of the many that BTS have been inspired by ever since they debuted. And since the point of all of this is for you to stay home, I will be linking some of these books in the description down below for you to read for free. So without further ado, let's get this bread and see what's going on. The first book that I would like to tell you about is Hermann Hesse's Demian, a coming-of-age novel that inspired the entire Wings era. The book tells the story of a boy named Sinclair and his journey to accept the darker aspects of himself that are embodied in the character of Demian. The plot mixes magical realism, real historical events, the search for the self, and LGBTQ+ subtext in a story that BTS perfectly adapted on screen. So if you're curious about the short films and what Blood, Sweat and Tears is actually about, I highly recommend you check this out because this book answers quite a lot of questions. Next up we have Murakami Haruki's Kafka on the Shore, which is a book that is actually referenced in the song Butterfly and revolves around two different narratives that are interconnected with each other. On the one hand, we follow the story of a boy named Kafka, who is haunted by an Oedipal prophecy that pushes him to run away from his father's house and look for his lost mother and sister. On the other, instead, we have the story of Nakata, a man who cannot read or write but has the ability to communicate with cats. Now, this one is a very strange book, and I say this in the best possible way. It mixes dream and reality, it has mystery, parallel dimensions, and most importantly, it has talking cats. So if this doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. The third book on this list is Owl's Service by Alan Garner, a novel that BTS referenced in the concept photos of the album You Never Walk Alone. This book is a modern adaptation of the Welsh myth of the Blodeuwedd, a woman created out of flowers to be the wife of a hero cursed to never know the love of a mortal woman. Even if the Blodeuwedd is created to be the hero's wife, she is unfaithful to the hero, and as a punishment she is transformed into an owl. In the novel, the myth is used as a curse that forces the characters into a time loop that they have to break. So if you like time travel and Welsh mythology, this is definitely the book for you. And speaking of mythology, the next work that I want to recommend to you guys is Euripides' Bacchae, a Greek tragedy that centers around Dionysus' revenge on King Pentheus after he banned the gods' worship in the city of Thebes. Do you guys remember when BTS referenced the city Dionysia during the Golden Disc Awards? Well, this tragedy actually won first place back in 405 BC. So in case you don't trust me, trust the Greeks cause they got taste. Just a heads up though, this one is very brutal, violent and bloody. And I'm talking Game of Thrones level of bloody. So if you're not into that, maybe let's move on to the next one. Book number 5 is Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, a book that BTS mentioned in both Spinebreaker and Second Grade. Gulliver's Travels is a satirical novel that revolves around the adventures of Gulliver, a man that after a shipwreck is taken prisoner by the inhabitants of Lilliput, a fictional land where people are 6 inches tall. Throughout the book, we follow the protagonist visiting different countries that get progressively more and more grotesque as time goes by. After Lilliput, he visits a land of giants, then a flying island, and then a country with talking horses that are ruled by humanoid creatures. So in case you never read this one, this could be the right opportunity to check it out. Next up, we move towards BTS's solo works, starting with Mini Money and The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. This book is heavily referenced in the music videos of both Serendipity and Winter Flower, and it tells the story of an aviator who crashes in the Saharan desert and meets a young boy who comes from the stars. This is a book about the true meaning of love and friendship and possibly the most wholesome story ever written. So if you never got the chance to read this one, do it because you won't regret it. If you guys enjoy stories that mix children's fiction, folklore, and a deep message, another book that you may want to check out is The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. This book was mentioned by Hermann in the song Tokyo, and it revolves around the story of a man called Geppetto who carves a puppet called Pinocchio that comes to life and runs away as soon as Geppetto carves his nose. Every time Pinocchio lies, his nose grows longer, and the story revolves around Pinocchio's quest to reunite with his father and become a real boy. With book number 8, we move from Mono to Hope World with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a comedy science fiction series by Douglas Adams that is referenced in the Daydream music video. The story here revolves around the adventures of Arthur, a man who unknowingly befriends an alien named Ford who saves him when the planet is destroyed by the Vogons. After the destruction of Earth, Arthur and Ford travel through space with the help of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a travel guide with the writing "Don't Panic" on the cover, which makes this book particularly fitting in our current situation. Next up we have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a book by Jules Verne that Hobie mentions in both Daydream and Go-Go. The story here revolves around a man named Pierre Aronnax, a marine biologist who is called in to investigate a giant sea creature who is causing mayhem offshore. The sea creature turns out to be the Nautilus, a submarine built by the mysterious Captain Nemo, and the rest of the story follows the adventures of the characters aboard the ship. Last but not least, I want to recommend Into the Magic Shop, a neurosurgeon's quest to discover the mysteries of the brain and the secrets of the heart by James Doty, MD. This is the non-fiction book that inspired the song Magic Shop, and it tells the story of the author's journey from poverty to success while teaching you the basic step you need to follow in order to change your life, starting from the way you think about yourself and your environment. If you guys are still not satisfied, I'm also throwing a short story into the mix as a bonus. The short story I'm talking about is The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas by Ursula K. Le Guin, which is a novella that is referenced in Spring Day and that you'll find in the description down below with some of the books that I mentioned. So that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye!